everyone. This is BillieJean. I am here on behalf of United Front to interview Napoleon IV, the Duke of Cartel, also known as CTL. And I can easily say one of the talented spokesmen of United Front community and a great player of GOTwic. I'm going to ask some questions regarding the movement of fair play for all and aim to get a better understanding of this project. So without further ado, hello Napoleon, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hello, Billie. Thank you for your kind words. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. So to start this off, why did you start Fair Play for All?
Well, it was really neat. The initial idea, the initial manifesto, so to say, of Fair Play for All was released by Escobar Pablo of BCL, and later some fantastic people and players and very good organizers like Dudu, DroGoN, and others starting putting this movement into practice, really. And they invited me to be a part of it and later to be one of its spokespersons. So it wasn't originally my idea, but I think it was very important and interesting and original and needed idea. The specific reason why it was created was the fact that in a very short period of time, a lot of very expensive content was released. We had Sapphire Dragon in late August. Just a few weeks later, the Royal Badges, among many other things. We keep having now this new Awakening system, which is also very expensive in terms of diamonds to fully upgrade. More and more new commanders and castle skins and troop skins and so forth. It's getting more and more expensive to play the game, and it's not just a financial problem for those who can afford to buy all this, but also for those who cannot afford to buy all this. It's a different kind of problem because the game is becoming more and more unbalanced. It's not really sustainable. We are no longer sure that the game will last for a long time as we would hope it could last. And we, as very committed and passionate players that we are, we spent a lot of time and effort and money also on the game. We would like the game to survive for as long as possible and to be enjoyable for the largest range of people. So we detected a number of problems that together we are trying to solve. This is why we created this movement, basically.
Yeah, it's reasonable, to hold the mission and the game to be a certain level or rate. What is your objective in Fair Play?
Well, the ultimate objective is to try to save the game from itself. We're trying to make it more sustainable and balanced, so it will survive for longer without people quitting often, as it's happening very often lately. And we're trying to identify and try to solve the specific problems affecting all kinds of players, all categories of players, from the top spenders, the mega whales, which are having to spend more and more to keep up with each other. And they do this not only for themselves, but very often also to protect and to support their alliances and their kingdoms. It's very important for everyone to understand that very often whales spend for others and not just for themselves. But also, of course, for the majority of players, for medium or small spenders or F2Ps who simply cannot keep up. They cannot compete with players who have higher and higher and better and stronger stats and bigger ready sizes, army sizes, everything really. The game is becoming way too unbalanced. It's difficult to play in the same league. So thousands of players are either quitting or being forced to play the game in a different way. For instance, becoming zero castles because they can no longer afford to unbubble. It's too dangerous for them if there's a mega way around. Or sometimes they have to go to a different kingdom or for a different alliance. The game is changing in so many ways, and mostly negative ways. We're trying to stop this from happening and to make the game more sustainable and balanced in the future. And all of this sounds very ambitious, and it really is, it's true, but we're trying to propose a list of specific and concrete suggestions or even demands to the developers. We had the first meeting with the devs about 1 month and a half ago on September 14th. The second one will be in 2 days, this Tuesday, on October 28th. And always we discuss among ourselves what should be done, what can be done, what is feasible, and we present a list of ideas to the developers, and we put pressure on them to implement these ideas, at least some of them. And this is something that we can only do if we are together and united, which is one of the most beauties of this movement, so to say. And generally, I believe it has been working. Not all of the objectives, but at least this union, we have been able to keep most of it so far.
Yeah, it is important for all of us to stand together. Do you think it's taken effect?
Well, honestly, not as much as we would like. We did achieve a few concessions from the developers, but not everything, far from it. We could say, I believe, that, for instance, this new marketplace for us to change old material into new material is far from perfect. It's way too limited. But it's something that was specifically suggested by our movement. Also, the fact that now we have these new roulettes every 2 or 3 days, a new roulette that gives useful material for free to all kinds of players. For instance, badges and books of wisdom for awakening. I believe this was also inspired by the request that we made. The very fact that now we have, for the first time, a direct line of communication with the developers. We had this month meeting, the first meeting. Now we're about to have the second one, and so we can organize ourselves to discuss and to present the most interesting and feasible ideas. This is also progress, and so on. It's not enough. It's only a small proportion of what we would like to have, to be honest. But it's better than nothing. It's already a good start, and I think we can do much more if we remain together, if we remain united, and if we focus on what is really essential to make the game more sustainable, more balanced, and more survivable, so to say, in the long run. So yes, we achieved some things, but it's only the start. We should be able to keep up the good fight for a long time, for months or even years if necessary.
Yeah, that's good. Hence the overall strategy. Have you tried to help all merit players, including free-to-play, and if so, how?
Yes, we have, and this is very important to understand. One of the reasons for criticism or skepticism of the movement by a lot of people is the fact that the movement was originally launched, it's true, mostly by high spenders. So some people think it's only for whales, like fair play for whales. That's not true. Actually, one of the main demands has been, still is, for the developers to make every paid content, including the most expensive content, the premium content, so to say, such as Glorious Gear, the top 5 commanders, Sapphire Dragon, and so on. Everything should be available for everyone, for free-to-play players as well, in the long run, maybe through specific activities or dailies or tasks or something. And this is something that has not been accepted yet, but we want to insist on it. And to, if not every content, ideally at least more and more paid content should be available for more players. And we are going to keep, let's say, pressing these buttons because it's one of the ways in which we can try to reduce the balances. And also, for instance, there are some specific problems. Well, there are many problems in the game, as we know, but some specific, very serious problems that impact directly F2Ps. For instance, a few weeks ago, in one of the latest updates, once again, they changed the calculation on horse killing, on rebel killing, so it's much more difficult for everyone to kill horses, especially level 4 and 5 horses, which is a problem for all players, but especially for F2Ps and for small alliances, which rely a lot on the chests generated by these horses and the diamond that comes from there for everything, even for the to be able to buy bubbles to remain safe from stronger players. So this is a very serious problem. It's becoming harder for everyone, but especially for the F2Ps to continue to play the game. This is also something that we will specifically address during the meeting that we're about to have on Tuesday, among other issues. So again, it's true that the movement was initially formulated by big spenders, but it's not supposed to be only for big spenders. We're trying to represent and to support the interests of all players, of all kinds of players, and not just the biggest ones.
Well, we are happy to know that more and more people are joining the cause every day to make the game better for all. And one last question, what would your message be to the players about the cause? What should they understand and how can they help?
Well, my message would be, first of all, don't give up, keep your faith. We can do a lot together. This is the first time that we create such a large and wide-ranging movement of almost all main alliances, including alliances that are at war with each other. Still, they have this common cause to try to make the game more sustainable, more balanced for all categories of players. But we can only really advance if we stay together. It's true that some of our initial ideas, for instance, the idea that we should not spend while there was no concrete progress. This was not fully implemented. It was for a few days and weeks, but maybe right now not anymore. Mostly due to the circumstances in a number of kingdoms, K54, maybe also K96, maybe also others. So it's true that some alliances and players resumed spending, including myself. I said so publicly. I'm not trying to hide anything. So this is something that a lot of people have criticized. But it's important to understand that not spending is only one of the tactics, not the only one, that we have to try to improve the game, to try to put pressure on the developers. It's one of the many leverages that we have. Now we have this direct communication channel with the devs, but it's not the only one. We can also talk to our VIPs who are themselves in touch with the devs constantly. This is also important. If we keep really united and together discussing the most important and feasible ways to improve the game, there's much that we can still do. So I understand why some people don't believe in the movement for certain reasons, but I think they should take a leap of faith, so to say, and try to see beyond their narrow interests or this or that alliance or this or that player, and try to think in the long run, how can we really make this game interesting and fun and enjoyable for years to come. The game that we all grew to love, in spite all the problems that we know. So it's important for everyone to be aware of what the movement is and what the movement is not. So, for instance, it's not fair play for whales. It really is supposed to be fair play for all. And also our specific demands and proposals. So I recommend for everyone who has not yet done so to read the whole content of the first meeting in mid-September. It's been a while, it's true, but still it's important to know the foundations of our movement and try to support us in every way they can. Try to spread the word, try to invite other people to be aware of our activities, to share content that we are trying to produce, and really to stay together, to stay united in this common cause that is important for all. If we do this together, it's a huge challenge, but if we manage to stay together, it's a win-win situation, which is the opposite of what is going on right now in the game. Right now we have a lose-lose situation, both for big spenders and for F2P. The game is becoming less and less playable. We are really trying to save the game from itself, as I said at the beginning, and we can only do so if we stick together.
Yeah, no doubt. As united, we can all help together. Well, I'd like to sign off by thanking our guest, Napoleon. Thank you. We appreciate you taking your time and interest in helping on this matter. We also look forward to having more opportunities to learn further of this movement. Also, to all of the GOTwic community, thank you for tuning in. We will have more updates in the near future. Stay safe and enjoy the game.
Thank you, Billie. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and let's keep together. Fair play for all.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.